The Beyond the Ropes podcast is proud to support the Kai and Prince Foundation. Go to www.thekpf.com to donate or support the foundation on their mission of bringing people together to end violence. Founder Dr. Mark Prince's best-selling book, The Prince of Peace, is available on Amazon and other major retailers.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Ropes podcast. This is me, Michael Prime, joined today by Dwight Best, David White, Sean Mansfield. That was the third try of trying to get those words out. Right, okay. Start of every show now for the foreseeable. We're going to go in with the Purge. I'm just going to get this out in the open as well. Karma's a bitch because I slated the shit out of like Sam Egginton last week, and what's the other guy that blocks with his face all the time? Buglioni, no, we didn't. I didn't. Cheeseman. And got an eye infection and ended up looking a lot like Cheeseman after the Garcia fight. So I'm going to try and be positive to people today because I can't take this. Yeah, it's not good, man. Dave walked in today and he's like, "You look like Will Smith from Hitch." Not at the beginning, not at the end. That bit where he gets fucked up. So yeah, cool. We're going to go straight in with our purges. This will be the last week when we use all four of us for it, and then next week we'll move on to one, possibly two each, until we just run out of shit and we end up, in theory, with the perfect sport. So we'll let Dave go first this week because he kind of got screwed over last week, and he can try and pass on the love this week. Mm-hmm. Go for it, Dave. What are you purging from the sport we love?
I don't know if you call them novices, but lesson 10 and 0 fighters or 10 fighters who have live musicians. Bring them out. I think the last time we were at York Hall, the main fight was on. We were leaving, and there was obviously a filler fight at the end. And the geezer, fair play to him. I think it was his debut and everything, but he had two MCs on or whatever, and it was just cringy as fuck. And there was like 5 people in the crowd, and he's got 2 of his fellas rapping or whatever you want to MCing all his minute all the way down, even though it's like a 10-second walk. And you haven't got there yet. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got there. Like the big time fellas, some of them don't even care. They just walk to the ring with a shit song, and you've got fellas who haven't even made a name for themselves yet, throwing out live music. Nah. Build your name, and then maybe I'll be interested in your ring walk. But yeah, just nah.
Made you notice him though, didn't it?
No, because we still left. Because his ring walk, his ring walk was so long that the guys, the 2 MCs that got in the ring, they then stopped, and he still hadn't walked behind them and got in. And I was just like, nah, see you later. But
I think when that happened, we all turned around in unison and were like, "Oh, what's this?" Oh, fuck that.
Nah, fuck it. So, but it's not the first time, and yeah, I just think I know there's songs to get you like upbeat, but if you're really needing a song or something like that to G you up, then
you need Chris Brown champion.
Nice try. I just don't think you're G'd up enough. Then you shouldn't be really boxing if you can't get up for a fight, if that makes sense. So yeah.
On that note, we need to send a big shout out to Sean, whose Mysterious Girl ring walk was chosen by Rob Cass for the winning song, because that and the Prodigy song that I picked were tied at the top. Split decision. We went back to the scorecards. It was 1 for Mysterious Girl, 0 for Prodigy. So yeah, the recount was conclusive. Okay, moving on. Dwight.
Purge.
away.
Ring girls.
Right, and how do we turn his mic on?
I want to purge ring girls. Like fuck.
I don't know where this
Like
is going, man.
fuck, mate.
Oh, right.
Calm down, boys. Calm down. Nah, I thought, what did I say earlier? I forgot what I said.
I don't know, but you've committed to ring girls now. So.
No, I haven't.
Having a path to.
Yeah, plotting your way to the top, mate. That just it's kind of getting on my nerves now. Like with the anti-R situation that's going on, even with the Joshua situation, like just I want to see guys fighting the toughest guys out there to get to the top, to get to the get through, like having an eliminator that actually means something. Get someone decent, not just literally just plotting your way around. Oh, we'll step aside for money and to get the easier belt and all that stuff. That's getting on my nerves now a little bit. So I definitely want to purge that, 100%.
I can fully understand that.
Yeah, the only thing is that when you see somebody, like as soon as Anthony Yard loses, like he's going to lose a lot of his appeal. So he's
got to plot.
He's got to plot.
I like that.
Because you can still make a lot of money plotting.
That should be
can't you?
Tunde's thing, not lying to the camp.
And if he loses, if he goes to that big fight and loses, then he might not ever make that money.
Alright, that's from a money perspective. I totally get that, but we're talking about a world champion. You should have to earn the right to be a world champion. It shouldn't be just a way of. It shouldn't be just okay. How do we get there? Make the most amount of money without actually with the lowest risk. I totally understand that as a fighter, you don't want to be getting yourself beaten up, like, but as fans, we want to see the best possible fights. We don't want to.
You're happy to pay for the big fights, the hard fights.
Yeah,
not,
we want to see the best fights at the top, like, and we don't want to see Joshua Charles Martin. You know what I mean? We don't. I don't want to see that sort of thing.
No.
That's just a waste of time. That shouldn't even be an eliminator, let alone a world championship fight. So yeah.
With Yard, don't you think as soon as he loses, like he's just going to lose all of his fights after that?
No, I don't think.
I
don't think so. I don't think so. The thing is though, like he could be fighting better opponents and getting and
he should be
build up and build up his experience, and for all we know, it could bring the best out of him.
Yeah.
But as soon as he goes in with someone like the thing is though, it's gonna be a massive jump now. Whoever he fights, like Kovalev, whatever, it's a massive jump. Yeah. It's a big gap.
That is the big problem.
And that's a problem.
Experience, you're not tested at that level.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. Like I think he should have been fighting harder fights. For some reason, how's he got the WBO? Is he mandatory or is he just the number one?
I think he's mandatory now, isn't he? He has been for a while.
But how? Like he's fought a super middleweight in one of his last 5 fights. It's. I know we joke about it as the WBO being the Warren boxing organisation, but I agree with Dwight. They've not plotted, but they've gotten into a very good situation without having to do much work, like without having to actually fight. If that makes sense.
What's been interesting there is that I've been quite a few of his fights, and they haven't been light work. Like on paper, he should be blasting these people out, and he gets hit a lot.
Yeah, he does. Like we say, it doesn't seem to have a plan B. It's just literally the same thing, where whether that's him or it's his trainer, is it Joe Gallagher all over again? Like, do you know what I mean? You got a good fighter, but give him another option of how to fight. But yeah, going back to what we were saying, I've got a feeling the step will be too big. Like there is no. I don't think he's. I think he's good, but I don't think he's got sort of like not break, but ease his way into that jump. Yeah, like he's not fought anyone that I would think. Yeah, this guy's going to give him a rough night.
I think he's good enough. That's the thing, though. I do think he's good enough to be a world champion. But like the problem is that jump is going to be too much. I think at this moment, like I don't think he's the best prepared for a world title shot. If you look at Dylan White, he's He's had to take fights.
He's had the people's eliminator.
He's had to take
that
fights.
was the most important.
Yeah, he's had all sorts of eliminators. The poor fucker.
You know, I'm saying about plotting your way to the top. On the flip side, I would like to see like the guys getting the chance. Like, they deserve the chance.
I
like,
get that.
I'm saying
It's one of these ones that you see it on Twitter and Facebook and that stuff all the time. Dylan White has been offered world title shots.
Yeah.
He's been offered final eliminators and he's opted against them. What was the one? Was he supposed to fight Pulev or Povetkin or someone? And he opted to fight Lucas Brown. Was it Lucas Brown or someone like that instead? I can't remember who it was, but he didn't fight the actual official eliminator. And then with the Joshua one, obviously you turned down the chance to fight for 3 titles. Now I'm not saying it was right or wrong because he laid it all out in that interview with Eddie. But you can't then turn around and say that you're not getting your chance.
Yeah,
because you've been offered them.
Yeah.
The WBC have fucked him over. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But in terms of fighting for world titles, he's had
a few
more than.
options.
Do you think they have fucked him over? I don't see what
he's
they've done.
He's been number one for 600 days.
But he's probably known for the last 300 days that Brazil was going to fight Wilder before him.
Yeah.
Why is he pursuing the WBC?
Yeah.
Why isn't Eddie Hearn saying, "Oh no, don't worry, we'll push you towards Joshua"?
It's chasing that girl that's already got a man, and it's not going to happen. Well,
That's fun.
It might do that.
Isn't it fun?
Ask Dylan White. 600 days. I'm pretty sure he's backed up now. It's worth giving a bit of context to how that came about, your purge as well, because we were talking about the possibility of Kovalev fighting Canelo jumping up in weight again. He probably wouldn't even be jumping up, to be fair. He's probably walking around at that now, in fairness. And Kovalev will have to boil down to somewhere in the middle.
Either way, a belt gets disregarded after the fight.
Yeah, but early thoughts on that. I reckon Canelo cleans him out now.
Well,
especially with Kovalev being weight drained.
I think it's embarrassing the fact that they announced Yard Kovalev 24th of August, whatever, Russia, and then literally said, unless we get a better offer to fight Canelo. No, not Canelo. Yeah, it was Canelo, wasn't it? Like we'll give him money to step aside and we'll fight him instead. It's like that week, like you said, your conspiracy theory months ago when he was touted to fight him. This ain't happening. This fight ain't happening.
I don't think. And definitely not this year.
The fact that they're throwing this out already, a day or two after they literally put it out there, it's just like. Yard must be laughing because he knows he's getting some more money for doing nothing, and he might have an easier fight anyway.
He'll get to fly over to wherever it is. He'll sit there ringside, get to come out in the ring afterwards and have a little chat.
Yeah, do the old face off and then.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Canelo will step down again.
If it's going to happen with Yard, for me, it's a 2020 job now. This year, if it's going to be in August, I think where are we now? We're at the beginning of July. We would know now for definite this fight's happening.
Hell yeah, 8 weeks, no way.
Yeah.
No way. And he can be, and he's in the gym every day, but
Canelo's only going to fight September, right?
Yeah.
But isn't they're saying Golovkin against Ngannou?
Yeah.
That's
September 14th.
I think for them, if it's going to be a Triple G Canelo again, that'll be Cinco de Mayo, won't it? And then that'll be probably his last. Would that be Golovkin's third fight in that 3-fight deal?
Yeah. But then if Golovkin is fighting on September the 14th, then that's Canelo's date as well. So
double them up, man.
Double them up, yeah. 2 for 1.
They're all on the same network.
Yeah. $50.
And they need to justify that DAZN
contract
bit in a minute, because like we said, obviously a lot of these models that you would imagine that they financially planned for, including people like Anthony Joshua and stuff, and that's obviously been it's been hit back a bit.
Get see Andy Ruiz now, mate.
I had a look on BoxRec, even though I purged it last week. He's like the number 1 heavyweight in the rankings now. He's above everybody. They're not called coefficient points or whatever it's, but however their algorithm works it out.
Punches landed?
Snickers eaten. Fuck it, he's on it. Fair play to him.
Snickers eaten, wow.
Listen, if you can get by eating Snickers and knocking out the heavyweight champion of the world, you would.
True.
It's just not going to happen for anybody else. Right, moving on.
Sean.
Oh, go on then.
No,
sure.
you go.
Alright.
Oh, you.
Just discarding me because I'm sitting here with one eye. It's fine.
Yeah. Can you see?
I can't see you, to be fair. I can see the other two on the other side.
Is that because the lights are off? Or is it?
Smile?
So glad he said that.
It's bright, isn't it? It's bright in here, mate. It's bright enough. It's bright enough today.
Ooh. You're always racist on the pod, so it's fine.
Usually about some sort of Chinese fight.
Yeah.
Fuck you, lot.
That's it. Sounds like something's kicking off outside.
He's heard ya.
He's heard me. Yeah. We didn't mean to be offensive. Right, anyway, my purge this week is... I'm interested in what's going on.
Yeah, that's pretty loud, isn't it?
He's shouting out the women's football thing.
Oh, is it? Oh,
You're all shit.
It's just rubbish day.
Female.
Right, so...
Hitting it there.
Do you know what? This is so negative to females today. My purge...
Oh, wow, here we go.
...is attractive women at the boxing.
Why?
Because I love to look at them, right? But the problem is...
You're male.
You can't look at them at the boxing. Because the chances are they are not there as a casual boxing fan.
They might be.
They're not, Dwight. I'm talking...
If they are, then they're with somebody who's not.
There you go. Right, so you've turned up at the boxing, you see a very attractive woman. Not that you would try and do anything, we're all in relationships, it's nice to look anyway. But even just as a man in general, that woman is there with either a fighter or a guy who trains fighters or him, whoever this guy is screaming over there. Somebody who's full of testosterone, basically. And you don't want any part of that. Now, we're guys, so you like to look, that's fine. But if you're at your call, you got to be careful. But how long can you look?
This is what the sunglasses are for inside, I think.
O'Hara Davis has had this down from the beginning. He's had this clocked. He's completed it. Fair play to him. Yeah, so it's
sexy females at boxing.
Unless, do you remember the time we saw her in the yard at the Joshua fight, and some bloke went to get a drink?
Yeah, he went to get a drink, and when he came back, Anthony Yard was sitting there with the two women that he came with. And at that point, I remember, Yard was probably only about 6 fights in.
No, not even that, I don't think, like 2 or 3, I think.
But he was he looked solid. Yeah. He's wearing one of these muscle tots where he's just bulging out, it's a white shirt. He's just sitting there. It's like, you come across it, you just see this guy talking to a chick, you're just like, do you want me to get you a drink, mate? Yeah? No problem.
The thing is, the bloke went and sat somewhere else, didn't he?
He did.
Or the girls
came
went and
back.
sat with him.
Yard was in his seat, he just kind of looked up at him and like, what do you want? And then that was the end of it. The guy went and sat somewhere else. Yard went away after about half an hour, and I don't even think the guy came back then. He must have been fuming. He definitely bought, what was that, the Joshua White fight?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he definitely bought the ticket for that girl at like 200 quid. And then
cheer up.
He's gone home sober, single, and poor probably.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I don't know about you, look, man. If that was me, I'll have to say something.
I would have said something. Can I get you anything? Like,
no way.
You would have grabbed his arm.
Yeah.
Grabbed his arm.
Man,
I'll be like, listen, you see what happens to Dubois? Yeah. You're smaller, mate.
That's
one of my highlights.
I had 2 kind of purges today, but that was the one I've gone with.
That's a genuine thing. You don't think there should be good-looking women at boxing?
Nah, just stay home, man, because it pisses me off.
There's nothing worse than walking in a room and just pure men in there, man.
I get that, but I'm never see men fighting. So
regardless, man.
And
so hold on. So unattractive women are allowed to go. Because that's even worse.
Technically, you'd still
the second part of your thought process.
Yeah, you'd still be looking at them.
You get checked at the door.
And you might even look at them more because you'd be like.
Like obviously there's a standard 10 scale, but if you're over a 6, you can't come in. We've got 3 judges.
They're literally just nodding their head or just giving it a wink. Yeah, let her.
That's it.
She won't put my.
That's where I'm going. That's it.
That's even worse, mate. That's even worse.
So we can let them in. Yeah, they're fine.
Let them all in, man. Let them all in.
And plus the fact that it's on a slightly related note, I hate. It's just really bad. I hate the screaming of women at boxing.
It's like that woman at Arsenal years ago. They were trying to let a goal in.
That was a lot, wasn't it?
No.
She
was
was
screaming
non-stop.
Oh wow.
It was a Highbury.
I was gonna say it last week when before Ricky took my thunder, but
Took your thunder.
He
That's
took my
definitely
thunder.
the saying.
stole my thunder, whatever, you know. It's just the just fucking shit shouting you hear. You know when you know it like
shouts are the best.
Jab him.
some no, but you know like
You should jab.
Fucking hit him.
yeah,
Use a
like
jab.
punch him in the face. No shit, Sherlock.
I think
Like,
it was at the one we went to with Jez Smith fight, and they kept saying, "Come on!" and they're saying like every sort of 30 seconds he was having a go, then she was having a go,
yeah.
and it was the same thing over and over
And
again.
and what about the fellow that Jack was fighting?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was his dad.
Oh,
Who
that
was-
guy standing up.
who
he,
just
he
kept
was
standing
constantly.
and shouting, and it was like, well, I'm glad you're not trying to tell him any tactics because the whole fucking hall can hear you. Like, it was, I hate it. I hate it. I don't mind cheering if like there's a, you're like, oh yeah, God, if your mate's winning or whatever, fine. But
So you
this coaching from
coaching from the
Row
crowd.
Z,
Yeah.
fuck off. You're not. Just fuck off. Mute them or chuck them out or knock them out. I don't care. But yeah, that would be another purge.
So is that someone trying to tell Messi how to play football, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
but
as football fans, we
should
do that.
through ball there, mate. He didn't see that through ball.
Exactly. There's a reason he's in the ring and you're sitting there with a burger in your hand. Fuck off.
You can get burgers at your hall.
He's found a way.
Smuggling-
They've found a way, mate.
Smuggling them in, but it's one of them things. But yeah, there's another. I had 2 purges for this week.
Yeah, I'm glad you had 2. Yeah, well, cheers for that. Sean.
Mine is different coloured rings. Oh, okay, look shit.
Oh, like the white
Okay.
one for black for
The zone. I don't like the black DAZN ring. Don't like. Do you remember Klitschko used to fight in the white rings?
white
The
ring.
big sponge one.
Yeah.
Bouncy
I
castle.
think they do the red one sometimes in Monaco. Do they?
Yeah, that's weird.
I just think it should be blue, or even like the old school sort of like a whitish sort
Just
of.
like a
White,
just
white,
white
grey
canvas.
Yeah.
canvas. Yeah.
Mm.
I just don't like all that.
Lit- wanna see the
Literally
blood
red
sweat.
and blue, and then
Yeah.
the ropes being both colours.
Yeah, I mean the DAZN one this week. It just doesn't look real to me. It just looks a bit stupid.
I thought the World's Boxing Series ones
That's
were
black.
a bit funky as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That fit in with their whole event when you took in the whole package the way it looked.
Oh no, yeah,
It all looked
it
good.
worked well.
But I get what you mean.
but I
Or
couldn't
have
do-
it so that it's going to be for every. I
Get a
don't know,
green one for the
yeah,
WBO.
for-
Or no, red one
WBC.
for whatever.
Yeah, that'd be alright.
What? No, because I don't like that.
Get a brown one for the WBO.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, how horrible would that be? Yeah.
It's like some old brown
This,
carpet.
you'd literally be like, this is shit. This is shit. Shit belt, shit ring, shit fight. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty.
That was a placid one. That
Yeah,
was,
no, that was just
something
really
like
chill.
Different
Yeah.
kind
Have you
of
got
rings.
nothing more aggressive than that? Nothing that can lead us on to an interesting conversation?
Nothing.
Cheers. I'm glad that we gave you prep time for this.
It's
Okay.
almost like you winged it.
One did.
Ringed it.
Ringed it.
Hey, but no, yeah. Alright, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
One man
Okay,
show.
so whatever.
One man show.
Should we move on, mate?
Yeah, I think,
Moving
I think
on.
we should move Dave on, to be honest with you.
Wow. Smell more juice.
I can't believe you're saying well like you're shocked at that.
It was that
Right.
bad.
Moving on, as we have to now. O'Hara Davis picked up a controversial win.
Ricky was right.
Yeah, Ricky Evans in last week, his purge was home decisions. And having watched the O'Hara Davis fight, even he was disgusted with Ian John Lewis's decision to award him the win. And he walked across, picked up the opponent's hand, held it up in the air and shook his head because he knew it was a farce.
Yeah.
And we said it before, York Hall is the worst place probably for this. But this is a huge show. This is, what's this now? This is MTK show. It was going out on, was it ESPN Plus? So it's being shown, I don't know if it's just stateside or worldwide or whatever. I'm not saying there's a massive viewing base going to be watching O'Hara Davis at York Hall, but it's not a good advert for British boxing.
No.
It makes us look shit, and we complain a lot as Brits about shit decisions in lots of sports.
Yeah.
And then you got guys like Ian John Lewis just rocking up and just fucking up
Like
everything with that.
If it's being shown globally, you're going to be getting the talks of like what we used to say about Germany. Don't go and box in Germany. You're going to lose.
Yeah.
Don't go and fight another person's
I think it's been like that even in the big shows over here for quite a while.
Yeah, we've said that for a while.
We've moaned about it.
But I think we've said it before when they've been contentious. They've been like, "Oh fucking hell, that's it's not great."
When the winning boxer is that like embarrassed that that's when you got to start thinking, come on.
I think when it was probably about a year and a half ago when we were at the Copper Box show, and it was the De Gale fight against Truax, and we were sitting there going, "This is the kind of turning point. If this ref gives it to De Gale, then British boxing is fucked."
Yeah.
And we were all quite relieved that he didn't get the decision just for
what he did. He was shit.
just so that we could actually hold some kind of respect for ourselves. But it was really poor. I was very shocked. Zahara Davis, again, he's constantly said that he is in the sport now for money. He's a property. Owns several properties, and that's what every time he boxes, he wants to buy houses. It's a fair play to him. But he looked like a man that had no interest in boxing. In between the rounds, he's just like, "What am I doing? What am I doing well?" But he just didn't even look interested at all. And it was really, it's quite sad to see because. We said, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago, everyone was buzzing about him.
Yeah. Well,
People
literally before the Josh Taylor fight,
Yeah.
it was a case of
people touting him to be
he could be
going on to
decent.
the world champion sort of level, which was a bit farcical, to be honest, when you look at it now based on what he'd done. But mate, it's really sad for me to see how far he's fallen now, and how you can just tell he's just not got any love for the sport. It's just one of those things, you know. There's people that they turn up, they're good at their job, and they hate it.
Yeah, there's no drive. If there's no drive, then why does he do it? Like, if people know that, there's only so many fights he's gonna get that are gonna make him be able to buy a new house. Do you know what I mean? Or put a deposit down.
It's not gonna last long on the back of the MTK fight at the weekend. It was a really poor fight. He got his rib broken, I think, in like the third or fourth round, and then he barely engaged after that. And I can't remember what was the guy's name, like Vasquez or something like that. He's former world champion, was a decent fighter, and he came out, he's really awkward, and he absolutely should have picked up the decision, and I was disgusted that he didn't.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happens when it's down to the referee.
I just think it just shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't be the case.
Especially
at that level as well.
I've said this before, it's in lots of sports where you have these kind of odd things. The only thing I'm liking it to, without referencing football all the time, is like, you know, like a linesman when they give an offside decision. For me personally, as a linesman, you can't do both things. You can't be looking at the line and when the ball is kicked. So for me, that's a flaw in that design. That shouldn't happen. It's like a referee, you can't be watching the sport, making sure that everything is above the rules and going as it should be, whilst trying to score everything. I just don't think you should be able to do both things at once. Doesn't matter what level it is, unless you're sitting there watching someone get absolutely battered and it's very clean and clear. There should always be judges, even if it's just one judge on the side, because there's no difference if you only got one referee making a decision,
or a TV judge that has no sound. That's just for me.
Even at the small ball shows, just at least one person. British Boxing Board of Control, they send people, they send officials, they send loads of people to watch every show. One judge to sit there, so that referees are not making decisions. That should have been my purge, actually. Shit, fucking referee decisions. Not even just the referees judging fights. It just shouldn't happen.
What's the criteria for there being judges then?
I think it has. Is it when it gets to like? I don't even think it's Southern Area level. I think it's above. It's like English level or something like that.
So why didn't?
Why wasn't that? That was got to be for like some.
It wasn't.
No.
Nah, there's no.
Ex-world champion fighting just for what?
That level.
Yeah, but I think it's when there's actually a sanctioning body on it, like for a title of some description, and this was just a fight.
Fair enough.
But it was a decent enough show. I was very impressed with it. Like Danny Darko was on there, very 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 good fight. I was very impressed. That was the best I've seen him so far. So he won his fight. He'll now get an eliminator for a Southern Area, or I think that was the eliminator for the Southern Area. So he's gonna fight now, and like I said, Dwight, that's your guy there, man. He keeps blowing us out there whenever we arrange for him to come down. So maybe not.
I have to cry about it.
I'm crying all the time. Do you know, I'm only half crying, so it's fine.
One tear.
I'm only crying at my right eye. Like, I'm half a two-faced or some shit right now. It's fine. I've got that widow's tissue where I'm just kind of dabbing my eye at the minute. Anyway, moving on after our purge, we had a question come in on drug usage, which obviously was, I don't think it was purged last week.
No, it was more encouraged, wasn't it? I think.
I think we came to the end of the conclusion that we actually love drugs in boxing.
Yeah, we invented our own platform.
We did.
Drug boxing.
Yeah, we need to get the rules for that written down and documented.
Maybe
ASAP.
better name as
Three
well.
choices per round. 3 rounds. And the final booster round, we can have all of them.
Booster round.
All of them. You
He's
can
doing it
put
like fantasy football where you got the 3 boosters at the bottom.
Yeah, you can throw your trainer in as well.
I think you think football is a bit too
Double
much,
up.
man.
Fuck it, they've got like tag team MMA, so...
Oh, have you seen the team ones where
Do
it's
you know-
like
yeah.
10 people
I've
running
seen the obstacle
over
course
an assault
one.
course, yeah.
Fuck it,
The
obstacle
Russians are the
course
champions
boxing.
at that,
Wouldn't, I'd watch that. Obstacle course boxing. Jumps over a thing, lands in with an uppercut.
I should have just told people that's what I did. That's why I got my eye like this, to be fair. I was team boxing. Definitely lost.
Yeah, it was just the hooligans.
Yeah.
Not
Okay, right. Question in for the pod. In your opinion, what should the minimum ban be for testing positive for banned performance enhancing drugs? That's from at Northbank Brent.
I think a year.
I don't know, man. I think it depends. Like what drug? Like I don't know enough about the drugs that they take. Like if it's weight loss, then you're cheating to get to a weight. Okay, fair enough. If it's something like
That improves your strength. Yeah.
and stamina, then life ban, because at the end of the day, that extra power or strength or anything is the difference that makes you kill that person or
But aren't some of them
doesn't.
sort of like one and the same thing? Like,
I
So
don't know.
if you're not having to concentrate so much on making weight, you can
You'll be
then go on to
stronger.
work on other things
You'll be stronger.
for a longer
Okay,
amount of
fair
time.
enough.
I get the example. I just think that they're all like if you're
There's
taking
there's a blur between
yeah,
the lot.
whatever you're taking, you're doing it for the advantage of hitting someone else probably harder
Well, in
or more
life.
frequently.
Life, you're messing with someone else's life by cheating. So it's a life ban.
don't you just think that they should just limit the amount of like supplements seem to be a massive business? It's like surely they just have to have like just an approved list of supplements.
I think the problem is that they
There
do.
is.
No, I mean I don't mean like a big list of. I mean like a very small list, like maybe I don't know, maybe 20.
Yeah,
Just say if you take anything other than these,
you're out.
you're out.
So you're thinking as a business owner there, aren't you?
You're
I
buying,
like that.
who's
I
buying,
know, I'm just saying. Like,
who's buying the contracts and everything.
Hey, Gilberto, if I give you some money, will you put mine on that list?
On that list,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, of course I will.
but you'd have to get all the governing bodies to agree on the same list.
Okay, so we're already fucked.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, but that's sort of the same as what you got now, though, isn't it? Really, because there's certain things that are banned, aren't
But I
there?
think it's
That's it.
substances that are banned rather than supplements. Like I
Yeah.
actually mean, I'm talking like a list of products you're allowed to take.
An actual
Oh,
product list, yeah.
One for
yeah.
protein and
Yeah, like just keep it really simple and just say if you take anything else, then there's no
Mm.
excuses for.
Just
That's-
imagine the share prices on
That's
those
product
going up
endorsement, though, isn't it?
overnight.
yeah.
Fair
But I
trade and all
think
that
it's right,
business.
Huh?
Fair trade and all that business.
Well, maybe you have like maybe you can only have like a 2-year contract or something with each governing body.
Rotate them.
Yeah,
And then
but it's just like then there's
bid
no
for the
doubt.
prices, yeah. Bid for it.
Could start funding boxing at a lower level, grassroots and all that.
Exactly.
Have we just solved another problem?
Just solved it.
We can afford that judge at York Hall now because we've got.
But it just
That money's
eliminates all these
coming in.
things like oh, I took it without realising.
Yeah. It's funny though that excuse though, because considering how many boxers we've asked, and they all so even Marcus when he come on as a professional footballer, they all know what they're putting in.
Yeah,
there.
mate.
Like it's not a like
There's obviously one massive exception, and that's the Mexican meat. I mean, that you can't do anything about that.
that goes it's global, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you just can't help that.
That's a therapeutic use. That
There's
is.
no way you can.
And the
account for
fact that he's got a nutritionist and all that, and a chef probably, but still
bad,
still
yeah.
buy from the same bad butcher, don't they?
slip through.
You've got to have that. You've got to have that home cooked food.
Yeah.
I personally, I think it's it's got to be I'm with Dave. It's got to be to the end. That's it.
Yeah.
I had a look after reading this question. I was looking at the top fighters in BoxRec again. I'm gonna have to go back and unpurge BoxRec. But of the top 10 heavyweights, 5 of them have been caught or admitted to using drugs.
Using?
Yeah, I had it up on. I had to get my references from Wikipedia, which is obviously not the most accurate all the time. Let's get it back up.
I think you can accidentally take something.
You definitely can.
I think it's a bit of a shame to lose your career and for us to be deprived as fans for not seeing someone in the ring because of a mistake.
I'm the same as HMRC. They say ignorance isn't an excuse. You can't just say I didn't know. It's your job to know what you can and can't put in your body.
Don't you think it's like a finance thing as well? Like, if you're not even aware, like let's say the Billy Joe Saunders one, he knew he was taking that inhaler or whatever it was, but he just didn't know that it was in the inhaler or whatever it was. So it's up to him to have to pay somebody to tell him that, pay someone to know that. And if you've got for him it's fine, but for someone a bit lower down, maybe like British level,
he can't do that.
They can't do that. And they're
See, I
subject
get
to the same
that, but
rules.
then again, once these industries they start, when at the beginning they are expensive because not a lot of people have them, but the more they become ingrained in the sport, more and more people do it, the price starts coming down and it just becomes part of the sport.
Yeah.
But like say you're eye now, you might have taken some eye drops and there might be something in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I was a fighter, I would have made it my business to find out what's in these.
Yeah.
If I take these,
You would
what's
have
going to
spoken
happen?
to your doctor.
How do you know?
Or your doctor, or your pharmacist.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Same with footballers as well.
The one.
They take cough medicine.
I'm pretty sure, I can't remember who it was that came in with us before, and they were saying there are apps for these things. You can literally just scan the barcode of whatever it is you need to
Is
take.
it Marcus, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And it will tell you, is this a substance on the approved list, is it not?
Yeah.
And it's very, very simple.
But boxing's different from football. It probably isn't. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if the same rules apply like globally for football, but obviously with governing bodies, there are different lists and different.
And again, this is the problem. That was the Billy Joe Saunders one. His one was was it the US one was
Father didn't like it.
Father didn't like it, but the the UK Boxing Association,
okay
whatever it is, they said it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's the same. We were talking about it this week on Twitter, like with Floyd and Manny. Like Floyd used, was it US anti-doping, and everyone wanted Manny to be on VADA, and Floyd was like, yeah, well, we need to do this, but his one had already approved the use of his. He had his hands kind of pumped with some shit or whatever because they were soft or however you describe it. So I mean, again, it's different rules for different people from different bodies, and that again, it's all the different belts and stuff from different organisations. They cause these problems. Boxing's so fragmented that it's very difficult.
Unless
to get.
you go the other way and make the list even smaller and just say, look, all this, the main stuff you're not allowed to take, but all this stuff that's sort of questionable, just take it. Everyone can take it. Not like real bad stuff, but like the stuff that is sort of marginal, just make it okay.
Fair enough.
I think
It's one way to go.
It's dosage, isn't it? If you've got like
A trace.
a trace of it, then
But then you have a trace.
because
when
you've
you
had
test
it,
It might have been because you've taken it a while before.
I'm gonna stick with life ban. At the end of the day, you're in there to fight, and if you're taking advantage of what you've got to get the upper hand, and it ends up costing someone else their life. For one, you got to be a certain way inclined, and two, you deserve everything you get.
But they're all doing it. Like testers are always way behind the drug cheats, aren't they?
Yeah, and they always
Of
will.
course they are.
So whatever they're going to be testing for this year or next year, the ones doing it at the top have probably stopped taking that 2 years ago.
They cycled after that.
Maybe, yeah.
But honestly, I was looking at this list, and the people that entered in this category, the criteria was they had to have been suspended by a sporting body, an international governing body, or professional league for illegal performance enhancing drug or banned drug use. They had to have either been publicly admitted such use 3 been found to have taken illegal performance-enhancing drugs in court, or 4 been suspended by a sporting body for failure to submit a mandatory drug test. Now, there were 71 cases just straight up here, and I could not believe the list of names. Like, you've got some like people that are active now and are big names, and then you've got some big names from history. Obviously, Canelo dubiously on that list. You got, even just going through the like very quickly, people that are active now. You got like Ray Beltran, Andre Berto, Shannon Briggs, is he still
technically
kicking about?
Yeah.
Lucas Brown, Lucian Butte, Tyson Fury, Kid Galahad, Vander Holyfield, obviously, Roy Jones, Klitschko, J. Leon Love, Enzo Macronelli, Jarrell Miller, John Molina Jr. It's unbelievable. Luis Ortiz is in there. There's so many fighters that are still fighting now, and you just think, fucking hell, these guys have all, at some point or another, been banned.
And we're talking about life bans. Like, who we have left?
I mean, look at this Matchroom card they're doing.
Or not doing.
No, but I mean, Dylan White.
Oh, right.
He's got to be out.
Yeah.
Povetkin out.
I'll be honest with you, though. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
You don't want to have the best people out of the sport, but are they the best people in the sport because they have been taking drugs?
Yeah, exactly. Does that then?
But like Dylan White would be out.
Yeah.
I like him. I think
it's a bit harsh.
it's good, but again, it's one of the ones where if someone takes it and they get that year ban, okay, take it again because they think, fuck it, it's a year ban. Or if someone else takes it and they haven't been caught, they'll be like, well, I know I'm going to get a year ban, and then that person then kills somebody.
What's his
I
record?
know that's the extreme.
But then you say like you give everyone deserves a second chance, don't they?
Again, I think in these instances, when you, like Dave said, you are potentially playing with someone's life, I don't think you should be. I think
you're not giving them. You're
we're talking about athletics
a
or something.
chance if you kill them.
We're talking about athletics or something. If you take someone out for say a 2-year ban, which is what they do in athletics, is it like 2-year minimum or something? You've possibly taken away their whole career anyway.
That's their livelihood career.
And that's probably the best 2 years of their entire career that they're going to have. What was it, Dwayne Chambers, when he got popped and he was he was like 28 or
and
something,
he had to go
29.
try to do NFL.
And it's like fucking hell, after that, you will never get back to that level again because you've aged now past your peak years, and that was when your ban was.
Yeah.
But I just think it's mental that you can have sports like athletics where you get a 2-year ban as standard. Jarrell Miller's going to be ready to fight by Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you think people nowadays are turning pro earlier because they think they might get a ban?
Yeah.
They've got more time.
Yeah. Turn pro 18. Pump yourself up for 3-4 years.
6 months ban.
Yeah. Be ready for Cinco de Mayo. It was a dodgy burger, honestly. I didn't. But listen, drugs in boxing is going to be one of those questions that we constantly come back to, but it's just one of the ones again.
So if you go back,
it's never going to change, is it?
If it's never going to change, it means it's never been different. So if you got to go backwards as well.
Yep.
And you got to assume that they were all in it as well.
And everybody who's won a title should have a little asterisk.
Probably.
What was that Olympics when they all had those shark suits for the swimmers?
Oh yeah.
The full body suits they were made like with that shark skin technology.
Was that Sydney 2000?
And it was like 90% of the world records were broken.
Yeah.
So now when you look at the world record book, they've all got an asterisk next to their name.
Where?
And I think I'd be happy with that. Like any boxer who's been done with that, you should have that next to you all the time. You're always going to have that on your record.
Yeah.
And obviously it's kind of sad because you'd be looking at people like Klitschko, you'd be looking at people like Enzo Macronelli that have won world titles and represented to a very good level, but you'd always be like, well, but you did get caught taking the shit that you shouldn't have, so how are we to look at
tainted,
that?
It's a tainted.
Lamont Peterson, he was another one when he was it Amir Khan, he got afterwards, and he had some
his hip or something.
Yeah, he had like some pod in his hip or something. I don't know what it was, but Jesus, man, like people have gone to some real lengths. It's just mad, and I feel sorry for David Price because he keeps finding these guys.
It'd be good if he came out and he was a drug shoot.
Oh, can you imagine Bellew's face?
It'd be so funny.
Can you imagine for what would it have made? What would make his legs skinnier?
Yeah.
His
weight loss on his legs.
Shoulders. Yeah. Weight loss for my legs because
just all goes on.
He probably needs it for stability, mate.
There's anchors.
Heavy duty is 2 weeks away. I'm really looking forward to that card now. Again, well, I think we've spoken about it a couple of times. We'll speak about it more in depth again probably next week. But Dubois Gorman, what are you thinking?
I was sure that Gorman was going to, like, up to about a week ago, I was sure he was going to win, but now I just think maybe Dubois might just knock him out.
I think Dubois will knock him out as well.
I was with you. I think I had Gorman just, for some reason, I just thought the Ruiz thing again. It was just like, the big guy's got it. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll change my mind 3 or 4 times before I get there. But at the moment, I'm thinking Dubois knockout. But that will probably change.
Fight aside, in kind of terms of internal politics at Frank Warren's kind of camp, what happens to the winner? What happens to the loser? Is this like an Coley Chamberlain one where the person is?
I don't think so. I think if Dubois wins, I think it's alright for Gorman. I think Gorman will carry on doing what he was doing.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little less Joshua Dillian White, obviously.
I think it'd be a bigger problem for Dubois if he lost.
I think he's been hyped more. Like, Gorman's just got on with his business, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, this guy's good. And Dubois has been from the outset, yeah, this guy's, you know, he's going to be a future world champion. And I think if he did lose, yeah, I think that hype train.
It's a bigger problem for Frank Warren, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
if Dubois loses.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a lot easier for him to just go under the radar again, Gordon.
I could easily Gordon.
I did say Gorman straight away.
I think it could be like a really good fight. It could easily be like a really good fight and have another one, do another one after that. And then it doesn't really matter if they both lose one. It really matters then. Yeah.
What do you think of trilogies? You know, early in a career,
too early, not like you got to be in your prime.
I don't think it matters.
If you win it, it's good, isn't it? If you win 2 of them, then you're alright.
Well, there normally isn't a trilogy, is there?
No, but I think if you're the guy who wins, if you got that guy who loses, you're always going to say, "Oh, that was a bit
one-sided." No, I think I don't want to see a trilogy of 2 up-and-coming fighters. I think one as they're up and coming, and then if anything, not even like, depending on how many years they got in their career, but maybe 4 or 5 years once they're properly established.
Well, wouldn't you rather see a trilogy of 2 good fighters up and coming rather than one good fight between the 2 up and coming, and then they both go on to fight nobodies afterwards? What's better for their progression?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I get that. I don't know. Yeah, it sells both ways. If you've got just 2 good fights or 3 good fights, regardless, then I suppose it doesn't hurt anybody. But I think as a business for the pair of them, it sells better if they do like, let's say Billy Joe and Chris Eubank. They've had the first one when they were both up and coming. They've gone about their business, both world champions in their own rights, had big fights. To come back to that point where they have a rematch is much bigger now than it would have been if it had been 2 or 3 fights later.
But at the same time, though, you could say, all right, if the first one was so good, the opportunity to make money again quick will be there. Like, do you know what I mean? I
don't know about that.
Whereas
because I think,
whereas you wait, they're gone their separate ways, and that might never happen again.
Yeah.
You might have lost that.
If it had been a closer fight, I genuinely think maybe they could have gone 2 fights later, had another one. Because of the way it was, and I think the way that Billy Joe Saunders beat him, I personally felt he beat him by a fair few rounds. That it's harder. Like, why do I want to? He literally said, "I've done you." You know, by 2 or 3 rounds, it wasn't close. I've finished you off. See me in a couple of years when you.
Some people's eyes, it was close.
Yeah, well, no, that's what. But I could easily see why he couldn't be bothered to fight him 2-3 fights later.
That's fine if you couldn't be bothered to fight him again, but yeah, I don't see the problem with having trilogies while they're up and coming. Why not?
Fair enough.
Quality fights, that's what you want, isn't it?
That's what I mean. As long as they're good fights.
Yeah. You don't want to see a trilogy between O'Coley and Chamberlain. Do you know what I mean? What's the point of that?
I don't know. I really want to see that again.
Do you actually?
I do. You seen Chamberlain side with Al Heyman as well?
I've just gone off Chamberlain completely. I just think he moans all the time.
Do you know what? He doesn't run his Twitter though, which is I don't know. It's generated a lot of publicity for him and stuff that's been tweeted from that account. But I think like you, it's also people I've read it for. He's a bit of a dick, but I actually don't think it's him. In fact, I've heard from quite a few people that with most boxers on Twitter, they don't run their own Twitter accounts, which is shocking. Like we all sit here and go, "Oh, boxers are the most successful, they're the most brilliant people," and quite a lot of them. Even like I said, even down to people that I've messaged people that have had 2 or 3 fights, and you get a message back, "Yeah, call my manager," and then you speak to the fighter, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I don't do my Twitter. You were speaking to him the whole time." You're like, "Fuck, man! Like you've had 2 fights, you boxed a total of 4 rounds. Like, why have you got all these people around you already? It's mental." But again, people are in the sport to try and make money and stuff. Sorry, Dave, you enjoying just tapping the mic over there? Okay. It's a terrible habit.
Fidget.
Yeah, I suppose that's one word for it. Right, we had more questions come in. This is from LPC1231, and it is: how far could Anthony Ogogo have gone had he not had any injuries? Now, Olympics, what was it, 2004? Was it 12? It would have been England, the London ones. Yeah, so
he did the Subway adverts, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. Spike O'Sullivan made him famous for the Subway stuff. But I remember, I just can't get up when Sullivan threw the thong in his face.
What level did he get to?
Right, so
did he win like a version?
I don't think he won anything, did he?
Did he not get a silver belt?
It's like
I don't think
that's the Oprah one, isn't it? You get a silver belt, you get a silver belt, everybody gets a silver belt. He was bronze, wasn't he?
So it's a step up.
And then he signed for Golden Boy pretty much straight out of it.
Yeah.
Had a few fights stateside, but like I think we've spoken about him at length a few times. Like he seems like one of the nicest guys you could ever hope to meet. But I don't think he was ever cut out for the pro game. Like even when he was having his beginning fights, like right at the start of his career, he was making hard work of these fights. Like the Golden Boy shows, he was supposed to be coming out and blasting people out and looking like a future star, and it just never ever played out like that. Maybe he was never right because of injuries and all that sort of stuff, but for me personally, he's one of them guys, you know, they were very lucky to get the glitz and glamour, because I don't think he would have worked his way up through the ranks.
Yeah, Olympics helped him a lot, didn't it? So
yeah, the Olympic program is amazing. You see a lot of people come out of that and they're very fortunate to then go on and box big shows and whatnot.
It's probably telling as well that he got he didn't get picked up by a British promoter who probably knew more about him. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you would have had people like Rob McCracken that would have been training him non-stop for a few years. He would have been in a GB setup.
Yeah. I'm sure he would have rang up Eddie.
That's it, and I'd be like, Eddie what's he like? Is he good? He'd be like, he'll sell tickets.
To get a bronze medal, was he?
Yeah, he'll sell you tickets. But I just think that I think the fact that those Olympics were in London as well made a big difference for all of those people. Because was it like Lewis Smith, the gymnast? Yeah. And I don't think he didn't. Did he win a gold? I don't think he did.
No, he didn't.
But there was a lot of people that came out of the Olympics and they were just stars because they'd been flying the British flag for that 2-week period where everybody in London liked each other.
It's a home Olympics, isn't it? Yeah. Let's be honest.
British title, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that would have been his level. But
what weight was he? Welterweight.
You know,
no, middleweight.
Of course he was, yeah. Middleweight. So, no, I don't even think he'd have won a British title.
Because at these times, the British title was being contested by decent fighters.
Yeah. It's a tough division if you look at it. Look at that way.
It's a strange one because like, his record is 11-1 with 7 KOs, but and then when he lost to Craig Cunningham, and that was his final fight, and that was for the vacant WBC International middleweight title.
Right, yeah.
So he was fighting for that. I hate to say nonsense title, but it is nonsense. He was fighting for that, and he got beaten. Craig Cunningham beat him convincingly in that fight as well.
Yeah.
That's when he got his eye problem.
Yeah. But I still think it was from the thong, not the punch.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely. When Spike threw that, he threw it with some spite. And he had worn that.
Infection.
I shouldn't.
That's how it's you, boy.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna sit here and slate anyone for their eyes at the
Spike
minute.
Sullivan was doing great then, when he like taking the piss out of the Eubanks and everything. Like,
Yeah.
he was proper funny then.
He had good banter, but that kind of went away. Like, when he went out to fight Lemieux,
Yeah.
and it was that one that brought it back down. You're like, oh yeah, actually he's not great. He's brilliant on Twitter. He's great on TV. Like the build up to the Eubanks fight when he like kissed him in a way and stuff. This guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But and let's be honest, that was a good fight to watch.
That was a great fight.
That was a great fight. But then afterwards, you watch him against other people of a good level, and you're like, oh yeah, we got to get caught up in the Twitter hype.
Yeah.
You get this with people though, when they're happy to engage with you and chat with you on Twitter, you suddenly get a bit of an affinity, and you think they're probably a bit better than they are.
Yeah.
You're right over there, Dave. You're pretty quiet.
I'm just box wrecking it up.
Okay.
I go and looking at, just doing what I do on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then you click on one thing and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I recognise that name. Let me have a look at this geezer. All of a sudden I'm
While in the middle of a podcast.
a geezer. Yeah.
Do that shit at home, bro.
I was literally going to come back with something about a go-go and then
But you didn't.
I just got sideswiped. Yeah.
Right, so now you've done your research. What level would he have got to?
Yeah, he was British at best. I don't think he'd have done anything.
I think it's spot on. I don't even. It sounds harsh. I don't think he would have made British level. Like we said, British level at the time.
Yes.
That would have been
It's a tough division.
Eubanks and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was people were a good standard at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good crop of middleweights, and I think, like I said, it's quite telling that he went straight stateside, so he just bypassed all of that.
Mm.
Yeah. Yo.
Right. What else we got to talk about, boys? Any other business?
No. Future. We've done what's coming up next week.
Yeah, it's a really quiet week. We've got no.
What do you think of, I don't even have to say it. Did you say Andrade?
Andrade.
Boo boo.
Oh, did you see his
Footwork.
his fancy footwork?
He came out of a rapper, didn't he? His ring walk.
And then he called out Canelo afterwards, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fucking cheek of it.
Yeah.
Absolute cheek of it.
Well, they're all gonna be calling out Canelo, aren't they? Like,
He's the payday now.
Charlo as well. He come back on the weekend. He
And
was
do you know
calling
what?
out
Canelo can fight anywhere from about 6 weights at the minute, so like he is going to be the payday.
That would be a good fight though. Jamal Charlo and Canelo. I think that would be a decent fight.
I don't rate him.
I don't think you can hurt Canelo now.
I don't rate Charlo. I don't rate either of them. I don't know what it is. So I don't like either of them. I think
You don't like
I'd
them.
say which
or
one is it?
You don't like them, or you don't rate them in the ring. Like they're not-
both. I've seen them out. I've seen enough of them outside of the ring. To
How can you not like the way they dispatch people in the ring though? Like that isn't that.
But they don't. They
What?
like they do, but it's not like they.
No,
they knock
they
people
do.
out by boxing. Yes, okay.
They're not talking about by boxing.
No.
Isn't that a good thing?
They're not dispatching these people out like these guys are shit. Do you know what I mean? These.
But they've been doing it all the whole way up to world level though, haven't they? Like,
No, I just don't think they're that great. I think both of them are easily hit. And who have they fought that would make you go, yeah, he's lot of trouble? They're good,
But that's the problem in that division, or those divisions, isn't it? That
they're never going to
the
fight
top
each
few
other.
guys are the top few guys, and if you're not fighting them,
Yeah, but which one was the one that got dropped the other one? Is it? It's Jermel and Jarmel.
Just say a name.
Jamel's the one who's lost the fight.
Right.
He lost his title recently.
And the brother hammered the fella who beat him.
Yeah, it's your brother, though, isn't it? Would
Yeah,
you do the same?
Of course. Yeah, but
Nah.
Well done, mate.
no, but at the same
Give
time.
him one from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, respect the fella. He's obviously gone out and beat.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't.
that's not their style either, is it?
I wouldn't know. Like if
Dwight's climbing in the ring trying to get a handshake. I'll prick your arm. Yeah.
if my brother's in the ring fighting someone, I want to get in the tag team, bro. You know what I mean? I think anyone would. Like you would do if your mate was in the ring. Like.
Dwight's that guy outside the ring screaming, "Go on!" and then just charging in the ring and just spearing the guy in the chest.
Yeah, I'm just for me, I'm just not looking. I'm looking at the record, and there's a lot of wins, but maybe 1 or 2 names.
Well, you can say that about a lot of fighters, though, can't you?
At
the top, like, do you know what I mean? You can go through loads of people's box recs and say that, pretty much say that about a lot of fighters.
Give us some names.
Give you some names. Austin Trout. He beat Austin Trout 3 years ago. Bundridge, an old Bundridge. But yeah, like that's it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
Burt Reynolds.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he fought a geezer called Wilkie Camphor. Like, do you know, like
what? That's a strong name. What is wrong with that?
Really?
Yeah, go on. I want to see how you're gonna not insult this guy.
I think you're looking for reasons, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. You just don't.
You just don't want to like them.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is?
That's fine. That's fine.
This is the racist day. This because they're black, isn't it? You just
and there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
They both look the same.
Fucking double trouble. Yeah. Not having that.
They're mates with Spence, and Spence beat up his boy.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, mate.
On a Spence note, did you see that he said this week that he's willing to call Oscar's bluff and fight Canelo?
Yeah.
I didn't hear all of it, so I don't know if he's specified a weight or anything, but
he said he's
going to be too small for Canelo, isn't he?
It's not going to be below middleweight, is it? So.
And if he's fighting Canelo's going to be like, fuck it, I'll fight you at... let's fight for my WBA super... What is it? He's not...
Franchise belt, right?
Oh, let's not talk about fucking franchise belts. I've seen a lot of people talk about him this week, so it doesn't need to be done again. It is... You know, you just think it, you can't fuck up the sport anymore, and then someone does.
Save it for next week's Purge, mate.
Gee, fucking franchise belts.
I like it.
Oh, God. I love it. Wow, we can't.
It's just like a secret belt, isn't it?
It's just a secret. We'll leave it. Alright, in fact, if we'll roll with that next week for the Purge, whoever's going to do it, and then add something in. But my other Purge this week was going to be cancelled shows. On the back of Eddie Hearn's interview.
You want to cancelled shows?
Yeah, I want them gone.
They are them.
No, I want the cancelled shows out. I don't want them to be cancelled anymore. Stop cancelling fucking shows. Okay. Eddie Hearn's interview the other week when he's like, right, we need to, and was it Anna Smith as well, we need to up the quality of our Saturday night fight nights. So we're going to start consolidating the shows.
Like we've been saying all together, though. We've been saying that for a long time now.
Yeah. So then the next day he cancelled the Manchester card with Okoli and those guys on it. But all this, like, they put on what, like 4 Saturday shows this whole year or something like that. No more than 5. So what are they consolidating? What, something we're going to get even less boxing, but it's going to be of a higher standard on the cards now. So we're kind of just going back to where we were a few years ago, where you might get a Saturday night card. And then my point is, they're going to consolidate it. They're going to put these guys on it. It's going to be a pay-per-view. Yeah. Suddenly it's got all of these interims and...
Yep.
Intercontinentals, and then it's going to be a pay-per-view. It's not a Saturday night fight night.
As long as it's not a pay-per-view, I don't have a problem with that. As long as it's not, like I said, I like to see as much boxing as possible, but as long as it's quality, I don't mind. But as long as it's not, and again, as long as it's not pay-per-view all the time, you can't be doing a pay-per-view all the time. You know, it's just a liberty.
It's a lot of money for not great nights.
Yeah. On the kind of pay-per-view line of questioning, we had another question in from Too Much Talking. Is the zones branching out to the UK plausible considering all of the sports they cover in the countries they are available? I think that they can only come out here now if the deal with Sky is dead. And when the Sky deal is
and
done.
It's looking pretty soon, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It always goes in cycles of Sky, doesn't it?
They've got to become now.
I don't think that will work over here, to be honest. I really don't.
I can't see your general fan. What's it for the year? 200.
I think it's like $100 now, isn't it?
$100. Oh, okay. So maybe you would.
That's just for boxing.
No, you get all of the sports that are on DAZN, I think.
Right. Okay. So then,
So what sports are you
all of
getting?
a sudden, you'd be thinking.
Well, it depends. Over here, you don't know what you'll get because they won't have any football or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for
Like
me,
over there, soccer's like a minority sport.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just-
But you
You
say
don't
that.
give us like baseball and shit like that.
Exactly.
No, but you say that, but
But that's
they
that's
have
already
better
been
coverage.
covered. That's
Yeah,
already been
true.
covered by other stations though.
Yeah.
I don't think they can give us anything new. NFL's already been covered by Sky.
Yeah.
Baseball's already been covered by I think BT got that, haven't they?
Mm.
Or ESPN one.
Or ESPN, yeah. So
Yeah.
what can they give us that hasn't been covered by a different station?
I don't know.
But for cheaper, for £10.
well,
It's
this
not-
is
£10
not
a
cheaper,
month.
is it?
But is it cheaper
Why?
though?
What do you mean?
it will work out cheaper than having
if-
Sky Sports or something like that.
Yeah,
but
it's got
depends.
30 odd quid Sky Sports at the moment. If you add
Not for boxing.
it to your thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're not going to have what you want though. They're not going to have football.
You're going to end up keeping your Sky because you want the football and everything.
Exactly.
And then you're going to have to pay extra for the boxing.
I think
Well,
we're at
they're not going to
this,
reduce the Sky, are they?
I was reading this article this week about the end of the golden age of streaming. Where at the moment there are a lot of services that give you a lot for not very much, and that it's basically going to be stopping very soon. As we've spoken about this at length, probably a couple of years ago, when we were talking about how people are going to move to more subscription-based apps and stuff like that, rather than having contracts with providers like Sky, BT, and whatnot. And we're seeing it with like movies and stuff now. There's a lot of companies. Netflix are obviously out there. Disney have launched their own one and taken back a lot of their stuff from Netflix. So they'll have all of that, the Marvel stuff and all that. And I think Amazon have got the football over Christmas. So you're seeing all of these people that give you these subscription services they're all testing the water out now. And I really feel like we're at this point where the next little while is going to be very expensive if you want to do things correctly, because we're in this transition period where you're going to want to have your Sky still and your Virgin or whatever it is, because you can't get everything from there. But you're going to need a lot of other shit to supplement it to keep what you've already got now. What was it? If you wanted to watch all of the football, I know we keep referencing football, but it's difficult not to in terms of sports in this country. How many different providers would you need now? You need Sky,
And you
you
need
need BT. Over Christmas, you're going to need Amazon. And you still can't even watch every game.
Yeah. Whereas in America, you just need Fox Sports.
That's it. So you're already going to be spending like £30 on Sky. If you don't get for free, possibly up to like 15, 20 quid on BT.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you're going to need an Amazon Prime subscription for those 2 games over Christmas, which is probably like 10 quid a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what I paid for that. So we're talking a lot of money just to get what you had as standard pretty much 2-3 years ago. We're at this real transitional period at the minute where it's going to cost us a lot of money to get the things that we want. Because a lot of people that own the rights to these things are going to stop giving them to people like Sky and whatnot while they test out their own platforms. And you're going to have to subscribe to these platforms. Like DAZN's is another one. Like, again, if they roll out here, a lot of the stuff that we currently get possibly through Sky will be on that platform.
Exactly.
And again, you're still going to keep your Sky because you're going to want that for the football, etc. But then you're going to want to watch, if Joshua signed to DAZN, you're going to want to watch that. Canelo's not going to fight on Sky Box Office anymore. He's going to be on a DAZN app. It's going to be a very expensive transition for us, I think.
I just think ultimately boxing will just lose out. As a sport, I think you'll lose out because people are just going to turn around. Your general boxing fans are going to say, "Nah, fuck it, I can't afford it."
At some point, the bubble's got to burst.
You're only going to get your die-hard fans like. Well, we can say we're die-hard fans because we do a podcast. So you're going to get people like us saying, okay, well, fuck it, I'll pay for it because I want to watch it. Or, you know what I mean, I'll try and find a stream or whatever. But the general fan is just going to say, nah, fuck that. And people, these fights are not going to get seen. The names are not going to get out there. The same profile is not going to be there. I just think ultimately boxing will just lose out.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take another maybe like 20, 30, maybe 20 years, 10, 20 years. Because at the moment, say ITV's big thing like for the Eubanks was that they're going to have an advert in the middle of Coronation Street and the people watch Coronation Street are going to see it, whereas the next generation of people just won't watch it. And social media will eventually take over the sort of like cross coverage that someone like Sky can give you. Like Sky, if you're a Sky Fire, they can put you on one of their other programs. They can put you on an advert when someone's watching the football.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're on DAZN as a boxer, you're not going to be on a Sky advert during a football match.
Exactly.
So I think it's going to take a while for everything to just drift away from normal TV. But I don't know where that leaves the BBC. I think that's the big problem, where that's the TV license is going to be the last thing to go. But I think it's ultimately got to go.
Yeah, that's the end. But you see them get rid of that.
Well, until they do, as long as you need a TV license, then it's going to be hard for people to get rid of like their normal TV services.
Yeah, it's true.
Would you be happy? This is probably a slightly off topic. With the license fee being abolished and you having adverts in the BBC, but you would lose access to a lot of BBC services. So apparently the license pays for lots of things like the website and BBC Radio and stuff like that. Things that you probably do get a lot of benefit out of, even without really thinking about it. Like, I use the BBC website a lot.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Just stick adverts in there then.
exactly. Stick adverts there, mate.
I don't think anyone cares about adverts anymore. They're so used to it in everything.
Yeah.
But everyone's got adverts everywhere.
You can't watch a programme 5 minutes, there's an advert.
But even on like iPlayer,
Yeah.
if you watch like an ITV player, there's an advert at the start, there's one in the middle and one at the, probably one at the end, I don't know.
I
Who cares?
fume at that as well.
Do you?
No, I do.
Yeah.
When I had Sky Go before, and you download a program, you watch it, or you watch it, and there's like 2 minutes of adverts before it, and I'm like, I've already paid for the Sky subscription.
Yeah.
I've now paid for Sky Go, and you're still hitting me with adverts all through the show. You're taking the piss now.
But
You're
if you
actually
weren't paying
taking
for the
the
Sky
piss.
subscription, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like we're so used to watching YouTube videos with adverts. I think.
I genuinely, I feel like I'm making a transition over to YouTube now. I watch probably about 30% of the stuff I watch at the moment is all on YouTube. I watch a lot of not even so much podcasts and stuff, but just like lifestyle shows where people, they just kind of not even necessarily do what we do, but they're just talking about shit that interests me, like football stuff, boxing stuff. I watch loads of that.
Reaction videos to music videos.
I don't watch them. Every so often I'll watch like the Big Shaq one a couple of years ago when all the Americans were watching it. I was like, yeah, I can watch it because this is hilarious. But again, I think off topic, I think we're probably, like you said, maybe 10-20 years away from not even having a TV in your living room. Think about when you're at home now.
Yeah.
The TV's on. How many people are watching it? If we're being truthful, how many people are watching it?
Yeah, true.
You sit there and it's you and the missus. You have to make a conscious effort. It's like, we'll put our phones away today, so we can actually talk.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're all right. You're not terrible.
We watched a film last night and it was awful.
What, sitting with the missus?
The film.
Oh.
I think it's the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
Oh God, what was it called?
It's the one on Netflix.
His wedding day.
With,
Oh shit! He took it there, boy. He took it there. Wow, if that's your worst film, that's up to you, boy.
Video. It is the worst video I've ever seen as well.
I was there.
It was the one with Jennifer Aniston in it. It's like a murder mystery.
It's actually called Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh my god.
It's all good.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I did like it.
Did you laugh in the film?
I did laugh.
Did you laugh in the film?
I actually didn't even
I did.
get close to smiling in the film.
Did have a lot of Appletons though. So it was alright.
Yeah, I thought that was the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
See, watch it with Appletons. Bash.
There you go.
I tell you what we might have to do. After a few weeks, we'll start purging shit that's nothing to do with boxing. Just what the fuck do you want out of life?
Mate, we'll be a separate pod for that.
Yeah. Was it an offshoot? Whatever. Yeah.
Do you think IFL will start charging?
I think if Coogan keeps threatening to cave people's heads in, yes.
He's a mogul now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. No, I don't think they will, because they will lose a lot. They probably make some very good money out of their advertising, and the advertising on IFL at the moment is fucking taking the piss.
Yeah.
I was watching the Tyson Fury interview the other day, and honestly, it was about a 25-minute interview, and there must have been about six.
But somebody
six or
asked him
seven
about
adverts come up.
That came up in an interview, and I think I don't know if it was Rob Tebbutt even said it. I can't remember. And he basically said, "Well, it's either that or charge subscription."
So I mean, I'm not going to complain.
But if it was £2.50 a month, would you pay it?
No.
With no adverts?
No.
No
I'm at the
adverts.
point now where I pay too much subscription-based stuff for stuff that it's frivolous, if you know what I mean. If I got rid of all of my subscription stuff and bits and pieces that I just like to watch or like games I like to play and stuff, I would easily be 100 quid a month better off. Easily. I can't just keep adding. And this is the problem. We've got this little thing where it's all microtransactions now. Like when you're playing any games or anything, it's a quid here, 2 quid there. You think, oh fuck it, it's just it's nothing. And then you sit back and you look at it, you think, shit, I've spent
pound, £2, £pound. It's only 1 week. And you're like 40 quid on something that you...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just think, like I said, it's going to be a very expensive period now for us as fans, because we're gonna continue. We're in that generation now where we will keep Sky, Virgin, BT, whatever your provider is, but we're also going to have these supplementary sites alongside it. And the more people are going to keep launching them, the ones that interest us, we're going to keep going onto them. And then it's going to come crashing down at some point, and everyone's going to go, well, one of these has got to go. I can either get rid of Netflix, Amazon, and all that sort of stuff, or I can get rid of Sky.
It's going to be like, what do you watch on Sky?
This is it. My point, like,
I don't watch any of the
I
don't watch.
That's it. I've got a smart TV, so all my apps are all lined up. My Virgin is the very last app I look at. I'll look at YouTube, I will check Netflix, Amazon Prime, I'll check IPTV. But if there's nothing else on, then I'll flick across the Sky.
See, look, I'm different, man. I'm
that's the end of the show. Dwight's different.
I watch. yeah, I'm very different. I watch all my stuff on Sky, pretty much. But apart from, well, not all of it, but most of my stuff, Sky, Netflix, and then obviously YouTube stuff. But I watch most of my stuff on Sky. So,
for me personally, Sky will be well, I don't have Sky anymore. I've got Virgin, but that will be the next thing that I drop now, because I could easily get by
the most expensive one.
Easily. And as I said, I think they're fully aware of that now. That's why a lot of people are bringing out new products, and even like the big brands like Sky and Virgin, they've got their Go applications where you can watch everything on your phone and all that. It won't be long before you can get those without having the TV subscription.
You just pay 20 quid.
You need to step up the game, man. Especially with boxing, just step it up, man, because they're losing a lot.
Final kind of question on boxing then. Boxing obviously goes in cycles. We've said this loads of times where it has peaks and troughs. Are we coming out of that kind of golden age?
I think we said that before.
I'm not even just talking British boxing. I mean boxing on a world scale right now. Have we peaked we've been on a wave for a while? Are we on that downward slide at the minute?
I don't think so on a world stage, because there's still interesting fights out there, and
but they're
still
not being made now.
That's the thing.
They're still
not being made. Like back in the day, you had, when we say it all the time, you had the fights, you had the big fighters fighting. Not every fight, but you know, the good fighters weren't too fussed of who their next fighter was. If he was good as well, then it was even better, because he was showing who was the best. Now it goes back to the plotting thing. I think there's probably maybe 3 people out there that I want to stay up and watch. Whereas back in the day, I'd pretty much be quite happy to watch a late night boxing from America or wherever.
Because you knew it was a good standard.
Because you knew there was loads of them on.
Yeah.
Now,
we said it before. Like
it's embarrassing.
There's been times where I know a lot of people didn't watch the Anthony Joshua fight because they were like, it's a knockover job. Like, I'll just check it in the morning. And then you wake up in the morning and you think, oh fuck, I've missed something epic. But we're at the point where you just think, I already know the result for this, so I'm not gonna watch it.
That's what I'm saying. There's maybe 3 fights or
so
3
what
fighters.
Are the biggest 5 fights then that can be made right now? And like how many of them are like?
Just say Canelo versus, and then just say 4 names, man.
I mean, how many of them are interesting to the public, really?
I think it would be interesting to do if it was the step ups. Not so much. I think he's pretty much got his middleweight and what's the below? Is it
junior middleweight?
Middleweight. Those 2, he's pretty much got wrapped up. To go up to super middle and fight the Smiths, to go up again and like they're the fights that you're like.
But if he fights,
I wonder how good is
apart from boxing fans, are they going to be interested?
No.
If you're not a boxing fan or Mexican,
no.
I suppose Russian. I suppose Kovalev's got
Russian.
Great support.
They're both well followed in America. They both are, but
it's not. That's not the general public though.
No, general public will know Canelo, but they'll also build it up that he's fighting someone 2 weight classes.
I don't think they'll capture imagination of the general public. It will of the boxing community, but not the general public.
And there's like Spence and
Spence and Crawford.
I think Spencer's like my favourite fighter.
I don't think Spence and Crawford is interesting to anyone outside of boxing either.
Nah, Crawford is as amazing as he is. He's not a star, is he?
Yeah.
He's a star in the sport. He's not a star out of it.
No,
It's only the
that's the
heavyweights,
same.
I mean.
That's the same. Yeah. I was about to say there's
Wilder, Joshua Fury.
That's
those
always
three,
the heavyweights
those
are
three.
always going to be the marquee,
regardless
names,
of
aren't they?
they could be too terrible. If there was a world championship fight and it was two shit heavyweights, people around the world will want to watch it because it's just
I don't know.
it's heavyweight
I don't know.
boxing.
I don't think
It's
that
the
works.
world champion.
I don't think that works because Klitschko's just killed that scene for time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he
But-
was in so many terrible fights, but still earned millions off of each one.
Yeah,
Because
but the general public
heavyweight world
wasn't
champion.
watching it though. The general public weren't watching it. Even a lot of boxing fans were like, nah.
Well,
So
I say that, but I think if they'd have been shown here, I probably would have watched it.
it's heavyweight.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
but
no,
you're boxing though. Your boxing community though. Like you speak to someone who's not into boxing, they wouldn't have watched the Klitschko's.
Yeah.
But
They
still
wouldn't have
knew who
watched
they
it.
were. That's what I'm saying.
They knew who they were, and they still didn't watch them though.
It's like
But that's
Ruiz
even worse.
now. It's
That's
like
even worse
Ruiz.
though. Isn't that even worse though?
Well, not if
If you know they're the world champion, and you still ain't gonna go out to watch them.
But if the access was available,
Do you reckon if they was on Sky,
People
they would have
probably-
watched them?
Weren't they on Channel 5 or something?
Yeah, they will not. They will not. You won't watch them. Let's be honest. They wouldn't have.
Or Eurosport or something like that.
people still have interest in the heavyweight box. You telling me Andy Ruiz now hasn't made however many more fans because
Of course,
because he's
of
world
course,
champion.
of course.
It's regardless if he turns out to be still brilliant,
All right. So
or he turns out to be
if-
this one hit wonder.
if he doesn't fight Joshua next, do you reckon the general public will watch him in his
Yeah,
next
then
fight?
against Parker, they're not interested.
They're not watching. They're not interested.
Not,
They're not interested.
I think you've just
I
given
don't
an
know,
actual
mate.
example there.
I don't know.
Parker was fighting
Yeah.
for world titles and no one gave a shit.
No one cared.
yeah, but that's because
Always
he
a reason,
didn't
isn't
do
it?
anything.
Yeah.
He didn't do
Wow,
anything.
well, because
Tell me-
it was
tell
on,
me
I was
one
on,
good
it was on
fight
the other side of the world.
I think that's the point.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't watch him. Ruiz just knocked out Anthony Joshua. Didn't just knock him out. He
Okay,
put
I
him
get
down
that, but you're
3 or
now
4
going into
times.
specifics of
He
the
made a
champion
statement.
being someone that sparks people out.
No, he made
Whereas
a
I think
statement.
the whole
But that's
point
because
was just basically
that's because it was Anthony
two
Joshua.
shit world
Yeah, but
champions.
it's still a statement. If he'd have
People
done
wouldn't
it to
fight.
Wilder,
But
it's
that's-
still a statement.
But
He knocked
that's
out.
because it was Anthony Joshua though. That's because Anthony Joshua was in the public eye.
But so now
If he'd have
Ruiz
knocked
is.
out Artur Spitzka for that belt,
No one cared.
yeah, I think
I don't know. I disagree. I think world champion, heavyweight world champion of the world is always up there as one of the biggest things in sport, regardless.
So
Okay,
Charles
then.
Martin.
I was gonna say, who did Charles Martin beat for his world title? Then,
We're
Dave? Come on.
not chatting this shit when it was IBF.
That's
Oh, so getting more specific. No, it's not the IBF. We're only talking about the WBA, the most aged and. You can't just keep throwing these caveats in of why this doesn't fit your argument.
Why?
Because just admit you're wrong.
No.
exactly.
Right, next week's Purge. Dave's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not bullshit when it's facts.
It's not facts.
Wow.
Everyone loves the heavyweight world champion in boxing.
What?
Everyone does. Everyone loves it.
No.
It's the
no.
biggest thing.
I beg you, put
It's
that
the
to a poll.
biggest thing in boxing.
Put that to a poll.
Put it into a poll. Favourite division. And your general fans will probably say heavyweight.
Well, no, hang on a minute.
You're changing the question.
You're changing it altogether. You're just totally changing it.
Ask boxing fans what their favourite sport is. That's what they want.
On our boxing Twitter account.
Yeah.
Tiddlywinks.
I'm sure we're going to get an even split across all the sports.
Plotting. Heavyweight boxing, mate. For the general fan. It's the go-to. In all of boxing, they'll know more
So-
about heavyweight boxing than in any other division.
Well, that's not the point, though. Would they?
Why?
Would they watch it?
This is what the original question was. You said that they would watch it no matter what, and I was saying,
Now, the next
They wouldn't.
in the next 3
Absolutely
years,
wouldn't.
what are the big cross? Like, where's your Mayweather Pacquiao, or even your Canelo Golovkin to an extent?
We already know that. It's Fury, Wilder, Joshua, Fury, Joshua.
what
They're
about
the next
Ruiz?
3 big fights.
Ruiz has got all the titles. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
It's heavyweight boxing. You ain't gonna have it for long. But
But you didn't
That's
name
the-
them. You
there's-
didn't name the
there's
one
your
guy you were
Mayweather
just saying.
Pacquiao,
Exactly.
Wilder, Joshua, because they're the 2 biggest names in heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
There you go. Just like Canelo Golovkin was for them. Heavyweight boxing, it is what it is.
That's the most. Do you know what? Let's just stop it there because that's some Love Island shit. That is. I've got no reasoning for this. I'm just gonna say it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm gonna be where I'm at.
I just think I'm right.
Bullshit.
Well, like I said, everybody's got an opinion, but yours is wrong. So let's leave that.
Lies.
Right. We will wrap up. We'll be back next week. We'll have some more purges. We can talk about heavy duty incoming. We can go through the card a bit more in depth. I'm looking forward to the white card as well now. White, is it Rivas? Or Riaz or whatever his name is.
Rivas, yeah.
I think that's Derek Chisora's on that, and he's fighting Artur Spitzka, who until he got smashed in the face and left on a stretcher was giving Deontay Wilder problems. And I am going to throw it out there that he beats Chisora.
Yeah, depends if he's...
Depends on if he turns up.
If he turns up, he should.
Yeah. He's also lost to Jennings, isn't he? Spitzka.
Yeah. It's going to be good. Like, it's been a quiet week because there's nothing coming up this weekend, but there are some decent cards for the heavyweights that only people that boxing really care about.
There's a whole card that is mainly heavyweights.
So Dave's...
There's no other cards that I'm interested in.
That BT card, surely that's going to be the most watched thing in the country.
Exactly. We'll see.
Like
Everybody
standstill.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, standing unless
especially two British fighters as well.
Imagine if they were heavyweight world champions. Unbelievables.
Yeah. They'll probably put a big screen up in Hyde Park for that, I reckon.
Do you know what? I reckon it'll be like when they had it at the Champions League at Spurs with the screens in every direction.
Possibly.
They should just put the screens in Wembley and just have the fight somewhere else.
And sell out a stadium virtually.
I think,
Done.
Good job.
Like, if we're going by David's logic, this is what needs to happen.
You're all going to be watching it.
But we're boxing people!
But you're also general fans.
Go away, David. Literally. Like, can we have a sin bin? Like, David can't come next week. He'll be like, great, I'll have a kip.
It'd be too boring.
It'd be too boring. It'd be too hot soon. He won't come.
Yeah. It was too nice of a day to
do. Due a downpour soon, lads.
Oh, I love it. Way to keep our spirits up. Right, we'll wrap up there. We'll be back next week. Hopefully my eye will be better. We'll try and get a guest in next week. Thank you for your questions, and we'll see you then. Peace.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.